All right, everyone, welcome back. This is round 2 back 9 coverage from the 2019 Green Mountain Championship from Smugglers Notch, Vermont. This is road life commentary coming at you. Nate Perkins and Paige Pierce.
We have Rebecca Cox at 5 over. We have Sarah Hokom at 4 under. We have Jessica Weese at 1 over, and we have Kristen Tattar at 3 over. We're headed into the back 9 here, and it's been quite a windy day.
Sarah Hokom holding strong though. Bogey free on the front 9. Very impressive, shooting 2 down on the front. She's taken a
pretty commanding lead, honestly.
Yeah. And we're getting right into it. Hole 10. It's a par 3, 295 feet. Got OB short right and OB long as well. Hole 10 is playing as the second easiest hole on the Fox Run course. Sarah Hokom lining up the forehand. The only danger with this one is sawing it off and finding that OB, that short end to the right.
Oh, losing her hat, putting a lot of power into it. Whoa, the wind flipped it up, and she's going to be riding towards the OB.
Oh, wow.
Oh, but luckily it hyzers out. And that, like you said, that's really not usually in play, but look at these trees flapping around on the right side. It's making Jess grab her most overstable destroyer here.
Yeah,
that was
she's
Hokum's photon. She's going to what?
Oh, she's correcting on Sarah's.
Oh. And
Jessica actually overcorrected on that one. You can just see from the trees just how windy it really is. Kristen makes the correction. She's going to be inside circle 1 for her birdie.
And you know, like you said, this is one of the easier holes on the course.
Yeah, it really is. Under 300 feet.
With this wind, it's
really difficult.
Proving to be...
Oh, no, and that needs to sit. And she's on the line right there. I mean, she was in a pretty pinched off spot on the right.
Rebecca now grabbing her deputy, looking at a jump putt.
Is Rebecca putting with the deputy?
Yeah, she does.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Team deputy.
Jess looks like she's safe, taking her meter in.
Oh, man. And this is going to be a rough hole for Jessica. This is Kristen for birdie.
All right. That's a quick way to pick up a few strokes on the entire card. Jess is now dropping down to a knee. Looks like her left foot is even in front of her marker, kind of. From this angle, anyway. Doesn't look a very, very good stance to me. Uncomfortable. I kind of saw that one coming.
Yeah, I agree with you. Normally when you're on that right knee, that left foot is back behind Yeah. That is pretty much a meltdown of a hole. Jessica cards a triple bogey on one of the easier holes out here at Fox Run. Very tough to watch.
Yeah, really errant release on that drive. She obviously was not trying to throw a roller, just could not get the angle right, and the height was just way too low.
That's what the wind will do to you, though. I mean, the wind has definitely made me do some really funny decisions because you're thinking about it too much about what the wind can do to the disc. But we're moving right into hole 11. It's a par 4, 500 feet, and you can see just how difficult it is to approach this green. There's OB all around it. Really, from this pad, you need to get about 350 feet of distance to put yourself in a position to attack this small green.
And also with that 350, you want it to finish left. Where Kristen finished over to the right, you're going to have a pretty pinched off look. She's going to probably have to throw a sidearm from over there. Hokom's headed right towards her. I mean, luckily these girls have great sidearms, but you don't want to have to throw it with that much angle on your second shot. So Rebecca's going to try to correct and land it a little more left, hopefully.
Yeah, the further you are away from that corner up there, the more difficult and dangerous that the approach becomes. Let's see if Jessica can bounce back after that. Oh, no, and she turns that one over. Oh, and it's going to stay OB right.
Hokom here with her shock. Trying to approach with an overstable disc into that green. Look at that commitment, that follow through.
Wow, that looked great.
She's going to be inbounds on the green.
And you can see Kristen is actually pretty pinched off over here on the right. Oh, no.
And that's the miss you don't want to see.
That's almost worst case scenario.
It is. There's no OB short or left. But if you go deep or right, there's OB, and that's exactly where she ended up going. Rebecca able to throw the backhand because she's a little bit farther left, but she sails it down. OB. Oh, that was a very beneficial tree kick right there. She was headed right towards OB on the right side. Kristen, oh my gosh.
Goodness.
Let's get a replay on that one.
She has such a smooth putt.
Wow.
For the third time this round from outside circle 2, she opts not to jump and just jams it in there.
Beautiful. She's putting with Pierce.
Oh, and Rebecca just a little low on that putt.
It's nice to see her express some disappointment there and just show that she really wanted that one.
Oh, yeah. And Sarah runs that one in. That is for a birdie 3 on a difficult hole 11. Wow. All right, we are moving into hole 12. It's a par 4, 630 feet from the ladies' pad. Ideally, you want to lay up short just before this wetland right here. You've got to clear that little wetland and carry another 350, maybe even 400 feet to this pin. You've got OB deep and right as you access this green. This is one of those here at Fox Run that the landing zone is very small. You need to push this OB as far as you can to put yourself in a position to attack.
Mm-hmm. And anywhere by that red tee is a good landing spot. You do want to be farther left if possible so that your second shot is not... so that you don't have to throw an anhyzer. Mm-hmm. And also it's just better footing over there. You want a flat run up because it's still quite a bomb from there.
Both Kristen and Sarah's are decent placement, but they needed just a little bit more distance to make that approach that much easier.
Jess is going to be relatively in the same spot, right by that red tee. It's going to be a battle of who can get their second shot closest and, who has the most power.
Yeah, if you don't pump this first one, it's pretty difficult to birdie. I mean, Sarah has well over 400 feet left to the pin.
She's going with her photon here, so I don't think she's trying to get all the way to the basket even. She's going for overstable, just trying to keep it in bounds and doesn't swing it quite wide enough. She's pushing that OB line on the right. Jess with super overstable destroyer. She's going to need a big anhyzer on this one. Which she did, but it still hyzered out quite a bit. She says she feels most comfortable throwing it on a hyzer release, so that's a shot you don't see her throw too often. Kristen here with their defender.
Yeah, you can see just how far those approaches really are.
Rebecca, good angle, little bit low. Doesn't give it quite enough time to get the full S flight out of that. And Hokom's now looking at this for par. It's a tester. She didn't quite get it as close as she wanted, I would guess. She's really going to take her time on this one. Try to get that ion right in the center of that Mach X. Oh, no.
Well, you don't see that very often.
Just kind of shrugs it off. And just doesn't quite get enough extension and will miss just a couple inches low. Good par from Rebecca. And she'll be picking up a stroke on Jessica and Hokom. As will Kristen. And right now we have Hailey King moving up on the leaderboard. She's at 2 over and she's now in second place through 12 holes.
All right, and we are moving into hole 13, par 3, 350 feet. Honestly, one of the better views on the course. We're looking at beautiful view over there with the clouds coming over the top of the mountains, the leaves changing, just a gorgeous backdrop for a disc golf hole. Pretty tricky hole, really. 350, it's blind. You're playing uphill, then back down the hill, moving right to left at the very end. You need to get this one just over the crest of the hill, but also keep it low enough that it can access this green. And the basket is elevated on hole 13.
Yeah, and I think the trickiest part of this hole is pushing it far enough. Like that one right there is going to be a little bit too short, and left you're going to have now like hundreds of trees between you and the basket. And they're super frustrating because they're so skinny that you would think you have something, but there's just so many of them. You really want to push this one forward like Rebecca's doing towards that telephone pole.
And that is a beautiful shot from Rebecca. She's going to be a little obstructed, but she's going to be just inside circle 1. Really curious to see what Sarah decides to go with right here. Not really known for the backhand. I would say that this one is almost virtually impossible to park with the forehand.
Yeah, she does throw this relay really well. It's almost like it's a backhand the way she makes this thing fly. But it's just so technical. It's, like you said, nearly impossible.
Yeah. She's going to be off and to the left. She's going to have likely a tough scramble for a par.
And Jessica, this is a beautiful looking shot. Nice and wide. But even that isn't far enough forward.
Too early.
You really need to almost aim at the telephone pole. It's blind off the tee. Another tricky part to this hole.
Oh, no, and that was a nasty roll. And Kristen?
We kind of see a gap here.
Paul Macbeth putt. Oh, and she just decides to lay that one up.
Interesting.
There is OB long, though. You can see that OB just to the right of the pin there. Oh, my goodness.
That was gorgeous.
Wow, Jessica.
With her signature Nexus AVR. Just a flick of the wrist. She didn't even really move her arm.
Wow.
Great putt
what
from
a
Rebecca.
putt from Rebecca from outside the circle. We were not able to see Sarah's approach, but I guess she rolled far enough away to just lay that one up for her bogey. She's giving one back to the field. Was that her first bogey of the round? I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we're moving into hole 14. It's a par 3, 305 feet. You've got OB on the right, OB deep as well. Pretty tight access to the green. There's one small window that you're looking at from this pad. You can hyzer around, but it does bring the rollaway into play. And Rebecca's throwing a great shot to inside circle 1. You know what she's throwing right there? That blue disc?
I don't. I think it's her Maverick, but I'm not positive on that.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that this is the
Defender from Kristen.
Yeah.
Here. She's going outside, looking to penetrate inside on that hyzer angle, and she gets herself to, I would say, about 25 feet short left. And Jessica now. Whoa, look at the wind just taking control of these discs.
Yeah, absolutely. This is another one that's really tough for the forehand. The forehand kind of tends to finish off toward the right, toward that OB. But not for Sarah Hokom. She flips that one up, almost gets through the gap.
You know, and one thing I do want to touch on, it's pretty incredible. Like you just said, that was her first bogey on the last hole, and it's pretty incredible to think just how difficult this course is, the wind, and then also personal circumstances. Her boyfriend had a seizure right before this round started, and ambulance were called, and, you know, just incredible mental strength to power through something like that and to persevere through, I mean, endless thoughts of what could be happening at the hospital.
Absolutely. I mean, I know a lot of players on the tour would have probably not even played this round if that happened. But really just shows how tough Sarah is, how dedicated she is to the game. And you know she's got to be thinking about it.
Absolutely.
Robin has been touring with her all year long. We're all hoping for a speedy recovery. And we are moving into hole 15. It's par 3, 315 feet, and just a wall of trees on your right and a wall of trees on your left. It is a very precise gap to hit. Forehand plays on this one for sure. Just so tight all the way around. I mean, if you're off by just a little bit on this hole, it is really difficult. And Kristen is actually going to throw the backhand, and this is such a tough shot.
Gorgeous looking shot. She'll take the box with that lone birdie in the last hole, and she gets this one all the way through the gap too far forward. That's a shot you don't see that often, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usually the backhand miss is either a little bit, you overturn it and you find yourself on the right, or you don't turn it enough and you hit left. But these are two gorgeous backhands.
Looked like Rebecca might have been just a little early on the turnover. This one is just so tight, though. Anything inside the circle on this hole is excellent.
Just looking for a flip up with her Star Vulcan. Doesn't quite get it to flat, but it might have hit a sneaky gap on the inside, on the right side. Hokom now with her Crave.
Just a little inside from Sarah.
Oh, Good up, though. Great up. In the mulch, looking at a par. Honestly, when you don't have a good drive on this hole, you find yourself sometimes in positions like this where Rebecca is, where it's hard to even find a gap out to the green. Kristen's got to look for birdie. She looks like she's about circle two's edge.
It looked like she was just laying that one up, too.
Yeah, she was on a huge pile of down branches. Might not had enough momentum to jump. And Rebecca with another low miss. If she could get her putt up a few inches, she would have hit a few more putts this round and been pushing maybe Kristen for second.
Yeah, she's definitely been struggling with the inside the circle looks. All right, we are moving into hole 16. It's a par 4, 600 feet. Hole 16 is playing as the second hardest course on the Fox Run Meadows. You've got a tunnel, a wall of trees on your right and your left. Then you've got this OB wetland area right here that we're flying over now. You've got to put yourself in a good position to fly that wetland. You've got OB right, and then you've got OB deep, a little bit of an elevated pin. Definitely a really difficult par 4 though.
Yeah, if you're not in a good position on your drive, you have absolutely no business going for this second shot. So this first shot is really important. You want to just land really flat and center cut. Kristen, unfortunately, a little bit too far to the left, and she'll have to kind of pitch out and play for par. Hokom now with her relay. She's going to release this one super hyzer and look for it to flip.
Wow.
She throws this thing so well. I feel like this
is sick.
Her favorite disc to throw.
Just a beautiful shot. I mean, she's testing the trees there on the right.
Rebecca now with her Explorer. Look down at her feet. I'm guessing she slipped a little bit, but fortunately for her, that rock wall is not OB on this hole. So she will just have to hop over there and try to scramble out and also start playing for par. That drive you saw from Hokom is just primo. I mean, if you don't land there, you just have nothing.
You have nothing. And the layup is difficult because of that OB wetland right in between the wooded part of the hole and the open part of the hole. So you really need to clear that. And Jessica is going for it all from right there. She flips that one over into the woods. She might be safe, but she's going to be out of position. Kristen lays that one up successfully through the gap. Oh, and there's Jessica's shot finishing right there off to your left.
And here's Rebecca from her pitch out. She's looking to get up and down to try to save a par here.
Tough thing about this hole is that you're playing into the woods and then you play back out into the wind. So you could be standing in that pocket of the woods, not really feeling a lot of the wind. You let one go and it kind of works your disc out there in the open field.
Mm-hmm. And Rebecca's going to find herself about 40 feet short left.
Look at this shot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Chain height.
Yeah, beautiful shot from Kristen. And this is going to be Sarah's third.
Dropping down to a knee. Awkward stance. Forcing that one out on a severe hyzer angle. And she's going to be a little bit outside the circle. See if Rebecca can get this one high enough. It is quite a bit longer than her other putts. But it's got to be frustrating to keep missing low. We all know that feeling.
Oh my gosh. That is such a great putt. I mean, she has to get that thing way up in the air to get it all the way there.
Yeah, and you can see that giant smile. She loved it. It's a good one to hit.
So awesome to see her hit putts from the circle's edge.
Rebecca Carden a bogey here.
All right, and we are moving into hole 17. It's a par 3. It's 400 feet. It plays significantly downhill. Absolutely a blind shot. Right to left, we've got a significantly elevated green. We've got OB everywhere, and this one is so tricky to get the height, the distance, the angle correct. Very difficult birdie. Oh, and Kristen. Anything that you push straight is likely going to find the OB long. You really need to start this one out on some angle to finish off to the left.
Yeah, it's quite a bit more left than you think. Every time I think that I over hyzer it, it ends up being good. And so Kristen just pushing that one a tiny bit too far forward. Hokom, with the sidearm dominant player, decides to go entropy, which is an overstable putter that she's just kind of pitching up there and playing for par. It's a good play. Know your capabilities and play to them. Rebecca, I like how tight this one is. Yeah. Good shot by Rebecca. Well inside the circle. But it's elevated and the wind's blowing. It's still such a difficult putt.
Yeah, wind is ripping. And this is a tough upshot. I mean, this is really downhill, and you've got OB long and you've got OB right too. Very touchy. And that needs to sit decent, but she's going to be looking at a 22-footer on this elevated basket.
For par, too. It's that's a putt that's very nerve-wracking. Jessica here for birdie inside the circle. Great drive, but just not a great bid at that
No,
putt.
not really. And you can see that wind just doesn't really favor her putt. But Rebecca, she gets
Beautiful.
that one
Look
up.
at the wind flapping.
I mean, that was into a 25-mile-per-hour headwind. Easy.
Such a great putt. And I have to think that headwind helped her just slide it right into the center of the basket.
Oh, wow. And Sarah nails that one for par.
Jessica now with this to save par. It's a good hit.
All right. Just look at that view, though. And we sure do love Vermont. Hole 18, par 4, 655 feet. Significantly downhill. We've got OB the length of the hole on the right and the left and long. Elevated pin with a slope toward the end, toward the OB. Hole 18 is without a doubt the hardest hole on the course. Not too often do we finish with the hardest hole.
Yeah, and it's really difficult too because it can change the entire outcome of your round, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not just one of the harder holes to birdie, but it is it can lead to a big number really quick.
Yes, it can.
Because you've got that OB on the right, if you hang it out over that OB, you could potentially be re-throwing over and over again.
Oh, and Sarah just doesn't get quite enough angle on that one. She's going to lose speed and filter out to the right OB. Jessica swinging this one out nice and wide, but a little bit too much angle. It needs to sit, and it does. She is going to be safe, and that's really all you can ask for on this one. Distance isn't super important. Well, it is, but not nearly as important as staying in bounds.
That needs to lift.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Just enough.
And that is the danger right there. If that one does not lift, she is going to be basically re-teeing. And so here's Sarah for her third after she found the out of bounds on the right. She's got a pretty tight window. Wow. That was a beautiful approach, and she's going to have a pretty easy up and down from there for her single bogey.
Kristen, not quite wide enough. She's looking for a good kick here. Oh my gosh.
Great reaction off the tree, and she stays in bounds.
Rebecca now with the backhand doesn't quite get it flat enough. It hyzers out, almost hits Vanessa Van Dyken. And she's going to find herself OB on the left side, quite a ways short of the basket. Jessica going through that middle gap with an overstable destroyer.
Wow, look how quick that one got OB long.
Put a lot of power behind that one. It just did not find the ground. Skipped over the OTB wall.
And we're actually playing into a ripping tailwind right now, which can make this approach really difficult.
Mm-hmm. Kristen now kind of looks like she's lining up a jump putt. She's well outside circle, too.
Yeah, she's inside 15 feet, though, and you really want to be close on this pin.
Especially because you got everybody watching.
Yeah.
Grabbing free coffee.
All right. Solid approach from Sarah.
And that's going to round her out with a really solid score for round 2.
And Jessica almost connects from circle's edge. And this is an absolute death putt right here. Wow. And she sticks it for the single bogey.
Awesome putt by Rebecca. Good way to finish the round out.
Yeah, a good way to finish the round, especially after a really rough round.
Putting wise.
Yeah, absolutely. She finishes with 2 strong putts.
But really, the story of the day, Sarah Hokom, she went into this round tied, and now she is 6 strokes ahead of the closest competitor on her card. And she went through something super traumatic this morning. Just amazing mental fortitude, and really just how can you play the course much better?
Yeah, I mean, she's the only one in the field to play it under par.
I mean, yeah, for this round, yes, yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us here. Thank you to GK Pro for editing this live footage and getting you guys this post-round production. Thank you to all the sponsors for making this possible. And please put Smugglers Notch on your bucket list.
We'll see you for round 3 back at Brewster Ridge.